Hey guys, what is going on? It's FloatingWilly here, and today I have a video I am introducing to my series. It's gonna be like a kind of how to canon / explaining how cannons work kind of deal. So that is probably gonna be up on my channel quite a few more times. I mean, I'm gonna go over how cannons actually work, how the concepts work, new concepts, and yeah, and how the basics work, of course. So today, that's exactly what we are going to do. So right here we have a simple 40 stacker right here. I have some walls set up and some slabs, and I have barriers right here to stop it from going through. And basically, I'm just going to go through and explain all the components of this. So before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and fire it, just to show you guys what it does. And then it one-shots the wall. So I will be explaining all of these components in the video. So the first thing we're going to look at right here is the back power. Now the power of a cannon is what propels the sand and hammer and the hybrid TNT and whatever else you're shooting forward towards the base. So this is definitely a crucial part of the cannon, and it's important that you get it all compressed into one block, not like 1.5. Because if you just have 3 right here, this is the compression TNT. If you just have 3 of this, this goes off before the main power. So if you only have 3 of that, it'll compress it, but it won't compress it all the way into one block. So it's very important that you have a little, you don't need very much, a little bit of delay in between this compressor right here and the main power. And this will make your cannon actually shoot farther with less TNT used. Moving along down the cannon, here we have the TNT aligners. Now some cannons may have pistons in these places rather than TNT to align, which is completely fine. They both work the same, but in this case I would prefer to use these because they kind of save resources like repeaters and redstone. So basically how they work is, we will go to the redstone back here. And they go off, these go off right before the main power goes off. As you can see how the redstone powers that, but this redstone goes through a repeater before it powers that. A repeater is 1 tick, by the way, if you weren't aware. So that main TNT goes off, or the main compression TNT goes off, firing all this stuff first, all the way up here. And then these guys go off, aligning it to the left side. Because TNT is 0.098 of a block. Prime TNT is 0.098 of a block. So it can either be aligned to the right or the left. As you guys saw in the first shot, the cannon actually does break a slab while it stacks. So how this is done is using micro ticks. And what that is basically this and this may appear the same, but they are not. This actually goes off at a different time than this, making for, as the hammer hits it down, because of these guiders right here, I will explain those later, but as the hammer hits it down, it starts blowing up halfway down, so it's kind of like a tunneling effect. If you guys don't know what that is, basically it's TNT hitting TNT that's already blowing up, making a big tunnel. So what we do is we harness that going downwards, and it breaks all these slabs while stacking in the same shot. So now let's go over to these guiders here and how they work. Basically, this power, which we talked about, hits this, the slab bus TNT, the sand that goes right here, up against this guider. So it goes up, then out, up, then out. So it's going to be right here. So my head is right here. But if we have the hammer right here, which is just a bunch of compressed TNT that hammers down the sand, so it's 1 block taller. The guider is 1 block taller. So it comes out, it goes up, then touches the top, and then comes out. So my head's right here. So see how that works? The hammer hits down the sand, causing for a sand stack. And there's an equation for how much hammer you have to have for the sand, which is 1.152 or 1 really, x, and then I usually just do like plus like 5 or plus 1, it doesn't really matter. but that's basically how much you would need. So let's say that X would be the amount of sand. So that's the equation for the amount of hammer to sand, which is pretty nice how they have that set up. So moving right along through the cannon here, we have the sand compression, and I'll just paste this in. So how this works is if we come up here, right under this block is a sticky piston, and it gets powered at the same time the main power goes off. And it goes right through, and then it's powering a block and a sticky piston, which powers both of them, and the sticky piston pushes up, cutting off the signal early, causing for a very quick pulse. So this redstone repeater powers this redstone wire right here, and they both go off at the same time basically, and then turn right off. And they're connected to pistons. These are pistons right here, which it makes them go out then back in really quick, breaking these webs really quick, and letting the sand fall into these webs quicker. So what this does is all the sand, here I'll just break these, all the sand starts compressing into these cobwebs while they're in entity form. So then these entities, like I said, get pushed out up against this guider and then hammered down by this TNT, which is at this guider, one block taller. So that is how the sand compression works. The sand actually gets pushed out by these pistons right here, which there's cobwebs on the other side, at distance of 10 ticks, or not 10 ticks, 40 ticks, 10 full repeaters before the main power. So all you have to do is just get the right timings. So that's 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36, 40, just like so. And then there's one more repeater, since the redstone actually adds on 1 tick to go into the main power. So the sand gets pushed out at just the right time so that it gets shot right into the barrel and out. Now for how the hammer with one shot actually works. So basically what it's doing right here is just getting 4 TNT in one block all the way down. So this gets powered by this line that comes right off the power right here. It's at 3 ticks right now, 3 tick difference. Well, which is good for this cannon, which is definitely good. You can probably shoot, I think this is 20 chunk power. 20 chunks you can shoot with this on 3 ticks. But anyway, this powers all of these because these count, or they act as a repeater facing in all 4 directions when they're in dot form. So these power these 2 dispensers. And same thing with this side. So all your TNT is in the middle right here, and it falls down. And then 3 to 4 ticks before the actual piston goes off that pushes it into the barrel, one-shot sand gets put on top of the TNT. But some of you may have tried to do this before. The one-shot sand has to be in entity form for this to work properly. So right at 4 ticks, or 4 tick difference, the one-shot sand is like right here, just about to touch the ground, so it's really in there with all the TNT. And then this piston pushes it out, still all of it is in entity form, and it gets shot down. So when it stacks sand, this is directly inside the hammer. So what it's doing is, when the hammer goes off, it does not move because it's directly inside. So it just rests on the sand stack, and then you have to have a set number of dispensers. It doesn't matter how many, but you just have to have a few set out to go off twice, or you could have a whole nother section that just goes off a little bit later. But in this case, I just have some go off twice. Save space. Basically, they just rest on top of the sand stack, and then it just hybrids, just like a normal 420 would. So that is how the one-shot sand, slab bust, and basically this whole cannon works. It's all pretty simple once you get the concepts down, and this is actually how you make your own cannons. I use the same format for the majority of my cannons. I just go just like this. Have my aligners here, main power here, sand, or I have the slab bust, sand, space, hammer. But this is a 40 stacker, so it is very simplistic, which is it's pretty good for the beginning cannons. But once you want to start making bigger cannons, you're gonna need a bigger, better design to go off of, which I will probably be making a tutorial on, or not a tutorial, explaining video slash how to build cannon video on, like maybe a 100 stacker or something like that, if you guys do enjoy this. Which reminds me, if you guys did enjoy the video, please be sure to leave a like. If you'd like to see anything else or anything done differently, leave a comment stating what you want. Make sure you subscribe if you'd like to see more content. I'm FloatingWilly. Have a nice day.